This is John Costa, the editor of Citizen's Eye, and we're here at the Phoenix Square Film and Digital Media Centre, and we're talking about the census. And I've been joined by Perry Holmes and Derek Lote. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you.
Good. Well, thanks very much for agreeing to come in and have a chat with us today so we can make this short film for YouTube. Now, the last time we caught up was on Pange Radio when you came in and we were talking about the census. So maybe starting with Perry, how's it looking for Sunday the 27th of March?
It's looking good. There's lots of preparations taking place, John. I was spotting as I drove in this morning a poster for the National Census campaign which kicked off a couple of weeks ago. So people will be seeing pictures or images of a big purple bus, and I'm really excited to say that's coming to Leicester on Wednesday. It's coming to Ralphie Street in the morning and on to Humberston Gate in the afternoon. So it's all beginning to feel a bit more real.
Okay, so Derek, from your point of view, now give us your correct title, because I remember on the radio it was we were talking about it and it was quite a long title, wasn't it?
It's quite simple. It's 2011 Census Area Manager for Leicester City, Oadby and Wigston.
That is quite complicated, really, isn't it? It did make us chuckle on the radio, didn't it? So from your point of view, how's things going? Have you managed to sort of get the staff on board now and those kind of things?
It's been going very well. We started in about August of last year trying to engage with the local community and sections of the community that are traditionally not particularly good at returning census questionnaires. We've done a lot of work since then, and we are now moving into the operational phase, where our field staff are starting work and looking at the actual distribution and collection of questionnaires.
Okay. Now, Perry, you've also been on some other radio station, I understand, as well, since you were on Pange with me. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, both Derek and myself went on Kahuna Radio in Leicester, and that particularly was aimed at our Punjabi-speaking community, and it was great to share. It was actually translated as we spoke, which was really interesting, but it was great to share the message about the census coming, about filling the forms out, about perhaps getting help from younger people within the community or indeed from the City Council in getting ready to fill the form out on Sunday, March 27th.
Okay, let's talk a little bit of detail now about the actual form. Can you tell us how big it is, Derek, and the sort of kind of questions that are going to be in there?
Well, the form is 32 pages long, although it is predominantly tick boxes, so it's quite straightforward to fill in. In that 32 pages, there is space for up to 6 people in a household. So if there are only 2 people in a household, that means that 16 pages wouldn't be used at all. So it's not as daunting as it sounds. It's very straightforward to fill in, and there is plenty of help available if people are having difficulties with it. We reckon on about 10 minutes per person to complete the questionnaire.
Okay, and also I think you guys were talking about completion events and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, we're in local community centres, libraries and public centres generally. We're trying to organise what we call completion events. So if anyone is having any difficulty with the questionnaire, they can go in on certain days and actually talk to people and get some assistance in completing the forms.
Now on Wednesday we're going to be catching up again because there's big purple buses coming that we mentioned earlier. Can you tell us, Derek, from your point of view, we'll start off with you, what is the purpose of this big purple bus? I know it's on all the flyers and on the national campaign and stuff. What's the reasoning behind it?
The purpose really is to raise the profile and give people a warning, if you like, that the census is on its way, that when these questionnaires arrive on their doorsteps in mid-March, they are expecting them and are prepared to complete those forms. So, as Perry said, we started the national advertising campaign a couple of weeks ago, and this is a part of that campaign, just so that people can drop in and talk to us and ask any questions that they want about the census.
Now, Perry, from the City Council's point of view, obviously that you're sitting in today representing, what sort of impact does a correct count of, if you like, of the city's population help? What does it actually mean to the City Council, sort of maybe financially or from a sort of an information point of view or planning for the future?
Sure. I mean, I think it has the opportunity to have a massive impact on the city and indeed the whole of the East Midlands, which I'm speaking for a bit today because I'm the regional champion for the East Midlands. The basic sums that government will do in the future in terms of providing funding to not only councils, also to hospitals, to police, in terms of road infrastructure, those will all be based on the census. So if it's not an accurate picture, it means that there's underfunding. And I'll give you an estimate. We think in the last 5 years from the last census, locally we lost about £25 million worth of potential funding because it was undercounted. So it's really important to get those figures as accurate as possible.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about the actual day? Do people go around and knock on your door on Sunday the 27th, or do they kind of come round the week after to make sure you've completed it and post it? Just tell people what they can expect on Sunday morning. Are they going to be woken up by someone from your office, Derek?
We are actually doing things differently this time compared to previous census, in that forms to households, to private households, are being posted out and should arrive in your post box second, third week of March. You then have the option of completing the form and posting it back in a prepaid envelope, or you can complete the form online if you wish to do it that way. As long as you complete that census questionnaire, no one will be knocking on your door. But if for any reason you've not completed it in the period after Census Day, 2 to 3 weeks after Census Day, we will get lists of people who have not returned their questionnaire. And we will go and knock on doors just to say, we understand you've not completed your questionnaire, do you need any help with it? Just to encourage people to complete those questionnaires.
Okay.
But if they do it on Census Day or within a few days, then no one will be knocking on the door.
Okay. Now, Perry, from your point of view, how important is it that people take part in this process, both for themselves and for the city?
I think it's vitally important for the future of the city. We're in a tremendous facility here at Phoenix, which has been funded by a number of ways, and it's added a real richness, I think, as part of the cultural quarter to this city. And for that, you can look at other cities around the East Midlands who've been funded to provide for their communities. I think it's really, really important. And to be honest, it's such a simple thing that you fill out the form, you post it, and then we'll know in about a year's time just how successful in terms of return rates we've been. I think in Leicester it was 92% last time in 2001 filled out the forms, and I'd really like to improve on that, and across the East Midlands as well, so we can get nearer to 95-96%, which would be fantastic.
Now, we were saying to some of the younger people involved in the Wave newspaper and at Wave Club about how television programmes like, Who Do You Think You Are and all that are all based on going and finding out about our ancestors, filling out census forms and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's an element that the young people have gone home and said to their parents or their carers, we should be doing this, so in 100 years' time, our children's children, if you like, can find out what we actually did and things like that, and maybe not rely on Facebook for what we actually did. Do you think getting young people aware of the reason why we do census and take part in these kind of things is important?
I think it's really important. I'm really excited about the prospect that across the city on the 27th of March, the young people are saying to their parents, we've got to fill this form out, and taking the initiative. I was talking to somebody the other day about the possibility that it's been spoken about, this is the last census, and I think that would be a real shame. I know it's expensive, but it is such a great picture of the country on a given day, and as you say, it then gives something for everybody to look back on in the future, as well as being a funding tool, if you like, for future things. And I suppose the thing about the purple bus is that it looks, it's what facilities would look like if we didn't have funding to make them actually real rather than imaginary and cardboard. And certainly for children and young people in this city and across the East Midlands, it's that future thing which is really exciting. So I say, take the initiative, whether you're a school child, whether you're a teenager, take the initiative in your household and get those forms completed.
Brilliant. Perry, Derek, thank you very much.